Hey, welcome. Today, we are diving deep into the world of Google Cloud's serverless options. And my goal here is simple. By the end of this, you're not just going to know what these tools are, you'll know exactly why and when to choose one over the other. We're building a mental toolkit for making the right decision every time. So let's get right into it. Okay, so picture this. You've done the really hard part, you've written some amazing code, your app is brilliant. But now you hit that classic wall. How do I get this thing to run, to scale, to be reliable, without becoming a full-time server administrator? That's the whole dream of serverless, right? And we're going to break down how to make that dream a reality. We're going to tackle this by solving a few really common problems. First, we'll figure out our starting point, the three big players. Then, we'll get into the details of App Engine. After that, we'll solve the puzzle of connecting to private networks, learn how to deploy new stuff without causing a panic, and finally, build apps that can react to the world in real time. Okay, first things first, you have to choose your foundation. Getting this initial choice right between App Engine, Cloud Run, and Cloud Functions is absolutely the most important first step. Seriously, think of it like picking the right kind of property before you even think about building the house. I love this slide because the analogies just make it click. Think of App Engine as a fully managed apartment building. You move in, and the plumbing, the electricity, the security, it's all handled for you. It's perfect for most web apps. Then you've got Cloud Functions. They're like calling a specialist contractor, say an electrician, for one specific job. They show up, do that one thing perfectly, and they're gone. And Cloud Run, that's your modern modular home. You design and build the pieces yourself in a container, and Cloud Run gives you the perfect plot of land and all the hookups to run it with incredible flexibility. All right, let's zoom in on App Engine. Because even after you've picked the apartment building, you have another choice to make. And this is a big one. Do you want the standard environment or the flexible one? It really comes down to that classic trade-off. Do you want simplicity or do you need more power? And here is a perfect real-world problem. You've got a Python app, right? But it has these very specific C++ libraries it depends on. So you need a custom environment, which pretty much means you have to use a Docker container. But you want the platform to handle the messy parts, like scaling and all that. And you definitely do not want to get lost in the weeds writing complex configuration files for something like Kubernetes. So what's the move? This comparison table lays it out beautifully. App Engine Standard, on the left, is all about being streamlined. It gives you super fast, optimized runtimes for things like Go, Python, and PHP, with a set of approved libraries. It's simple, it's fast. But when you have those special needs like we just talked about, you look to the right. App Engine Flexible says, hey, bring your own Docker container. That means any language, any custom library you want, plus full-on integration with your private VPC network. So for our developer who is stuck with that Python and C++ problem, the answer is crystal clear. App Engine Flexible. It just hits that perfect sweet spot. It gives them all the custom control they need without shoving them off the deep end into the complexities of managing a full container orchestration system. Okay, on to the next big challenge. Let's be real. Most companies don't live 100% in the cloud. You've often got super important stuff, like a critical database running in your own data center. So connecting your shiny new serverless app to that private world securely is a huge deal. And here's the question that gives security teams nightmares. Your app is running in the cloud, but the data it needs is on-prem. They have to talk to each other. But opening up that database to the public internet? Absolutely not. That's a non-starter. So how do you build that secure bridge? And the solution is actually this really elegant, secure pathway. Your App Engine app, it doesn't talk directly to the internet. Instead, it goes through something called a serverless VPC access connector. Think of that as a secure on-ramp to your private VPC network in Google Cloud. From there, a secure cloud VPN tunnel basically extends that private network all the way back to your building, letting your app talk to your database like they're right next to each other. The best part? Not a single bit of that sensitive data ever has to touch the public internet. Let's talk about one of the most stressful times in any developer's life, deployment day. Pushing new code out into the world is always a little nerve-wracking. But what if there was a way to roll out new features safely without all the drama of a big all-or-nothing launch? So your new version is ready to go. The code looks solid, all the tests are green. But we all know the real test is what happens when actual users start hitting it. How do you kind of dip a toe in the water, before jumping in completely? This is where the absolute magic of traffic splitting comes in. It's often called a canary release. Instead of flipping a switch and sending 100% of your users to the new code, App Engine lets you send just a small slice, say 10% like we see here, to that new Canary version. Meanwhile, the other 90% are still using the old stable version, totally unaware that anything has changed. And the benefits of this are just massive. You are testing your new code with real production traffic. You can sit back and watch your dashboards for any new errors or performance problems. And if you see something you don't like, you just slide that traffic percentage right back to 0. No drama, no emergency rollback. You've minimized the risk for everybody. It's an incredibly powerful way to deploy with confidence. All right, for our last section, we're going to shift our thinking a little bit. We're going to talk about a different style of application. Not one that's always on, just sitting there waiting for a request, but one that only wakes up to react when something interesting happens. And this is what we call an event-driven architecture. So instead of a user clicking a button to kick something off, the whole process is triggered automatically by an event. An event could be anything: a new photo being uploaded, a new message showing up at a queue, a record changing in a database. It's a really powerful way to build modern systems. So let's use a super simple, classic example to frame this. A user uploads a new profile picture to a cloud storage bucket. That action, the upload, is our event. So now what? How do we automatically run the code that needs to, say, resize that image and create a thumbnail?
And the answer is Cloud Functions. This is exactly what it was born to do. You write a tiny, single-purpose piece of code, in our case a thumbnail generator, and you just tell it to listen for that specific file upload event. The second a new file lands in that bucket, bam! Google Cloud instantly spins up and runs your function to process it. No service to manage, no waiting around, just an immediate automatic response. But hold on, Cloud Functions isn't the only tool for this. What if your processing job is way more complicated, or maybe it needs to run for longer than just a few seconds? Well, that's where a Cloud Run really shines. So here's the key difference to remember. For those short, sharp, single-purpose bits of code, Cloud Functions is your best bet. It's lightning fast. But for longer-running jobs, especially ones you've already packaged in a container that still need to be triggered by an event and scale all the way down to 0, Cloud Run is the better choice. So let's wrap all this up. Here are the key things to burn into your brain. Go with App Engine Standard when you have a normal web app and you just want the fastest, simplest way to get it online. Choose App Engine Flexible when you need custom libraries or your own container, but you still want that managed platform experience. Pick Cloud Functions for all those little reactive bits of code that just need to fire when an event happens. And finally, use Cloud Run when you want to run scalable, containerized services and only pay for the exact moments they are being used. We've covered the what, but I hope you agree the most important thing we talked about is the why. Understanding these trade-offs and knowing the sweet spot for each service, that's the real superpower here. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. As you look at your next project, or maybe even one you're working on right now, which part of it could be simpler, more scalable, and cheaper to run by going serverless? Thanks so much for joining me.